Earlier this month, Mary Smith, who is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, was sworn in as the president of the American Bar Association at its House of Delegates meeting in Denver. ICT's Mark Trahant was there.
Mary, DTOEE, is the Cherokee word for lawyer. It encapsulates Cherokee humor because it means someone who talks a lot. But it also means someone who speaks on purpose and with purpose. As you take this oath, continue to live a life of purpose, advancing justice, and continue to speak with purpose on behalf of those that require your voice. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will support.
This year's meeting of the American Bar Association was, well, as we say, indigenized. John Echohawk, the historic leader of the Native American Rights Fund, was honored for his contributions to Indian law. And Mary Smith took office as president of the Lawyers Association. She has so many firsts on her resume. She is the first person to have served as both president of the Native American Bar Association and now the American Bar Association. She worked in the White House and has led the Indian Health Service.
Many of us in this room have been trailblazers in our families, in our firms, in our professional lives. I stand here with deep gratitude and a consciousness of the responsibility. I applaud all Native women who have been first. Wilma Mankiller served as the first principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. As a first, Wilma faced many challenges in life. She routinely had to dig deep to further her purpose. Wilma famously said, "Cows run away from the storm while the buffalo runs toward it. When I am confronted with a challenge, I do not prolong the torment, I become the buffalo."
I talked to President Smith in Denver.
It's a lot to be representing the American Bar Association. We are the largest voluntary bar association in the world, and I'm particularly cognizant that I'm the first Native American woman to hold this role, and I think that means a lot to the Native community, but to a lot of other people too, because if I can inspire just one young person, I will feel especially honored.
Then there is a long history involving Native Americans and the law.
Well, I think our Constitution was based in part on the Iroquois Constitution, so there's a long history of using legal principles from the indigenous community, and I find that it's interesting now that it's kind of merging with me being in this role at the American Bar Association. I hope one of the things that I'm able to do just by merely being in this role is helping to educate people about the history of Native Americans in our country and also about all of their contributions, but also the legal contributions as well.
Even with that history, the number of Native Americans who practice law remains small.
We have a lot of work to do because Native Americans still represent less than 1% of the legal profession, and they represent a higher percentage of that in the population. And as you know, Native Americans are one of the fastest growing populations in the world. And I think we have to start young. We have to be in grade schools, high schools, certainly colleges, to tell Native American students that, yes, if you want to be a lawyer, that is a possibility for you. And I think the more we can get people out there, programs like PLSI are fabulous, and we just need to do more outreach because I think if people can see it, then they can aspire to it.
And that includes more Native Americans being appointed as judges.
They are. There's many administrative law judges. There's judges in state and local governments. We need Native Americans at all aspects of the legal profession. And that's one of the things that I do say to young Native lawyers and young Native students. I think that a lot of Native Americans feel that if they're going to be a lawyer, they should practice Indian law. And if that's what their passion is and that's what their calling is, I am so heartened by that. But I would like all of them to think I can practice any area of law that I want. If I want to be a corporate lawyer, if I want to do M&A, if I want to do intellectual property, I would love to see Native Americans in all aspects of the legal profession, including all kinds of judges as well.
The new president of the Bar Association sees this as an extraordinary moment in the history of the country and of the law.
Well, I think we are at an inflection point in our country. We've seen a lot of different changes. The law is constantly evolving because the law touches everything in society. And the legal profession is still not representative of America, and we have a lot more work to do, and it starts with, I think, education and young people.
In Denver, Mark Trahant, ICT News.
Visiting with family and relatives will help us from feeling lonely or socially isolated. COVID-19 changed everything, like our ancestors who survived war, famine, and epidemics. Our elders had to make sacrifices too. The more we are socially connected with our family and community, the less health problems we will have and the longer we will live. We need to stay active to keep our spirits alive. Remember, you are not alone. Connected together, we will stand strong. For more information on elder isolation or caregiver resources, go to connectedindigenousElders.org.
In Bismarck, North Dakota, Mandan Hidatsa Cherokee Nation citizen Garrett Vigen is connecting addiction resources with those that need it. Here is a profile of Garrett's work on the Recovery Connection Conference.
From rural segments to capital cities, Indian country is being overwhelmed by the opioid crisis. Enter the Recovery Connection, created by Mandan Hidatsa Cherokee citizen Garrett Vigen. The event welcomes everyone to Bismarck and Mandan, North Dakota's first ever collaboration for recovery support services.
I'm doing Recovery Connection. It's a recovery event. We're trying to get the newcomers to be exposed to all types of recovery fellowships and trying to find, the place where the people you fit in with,
Garrett knows firsthand how hard it is to look for support when he first started his own road to recovery. Mentorship, he says, was an important step towards learning to help others.
So when I finally decided, I had enough with that life, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of humility, and there was a lot of struggles, a lot of pride. I had to kill my ego and my pride. I also had a lot of help from sober living. They kind of forced me into recovery and trying to be in a fellowship and, finding the road to recovery. And it was tough. And when it actually kind of clicked, I began to start helping others instead of trying to see what I can get out of life and try to see what I can contribute to life instead of taking all the time, because that's all I did in my addiction. And I guess there wasn't a specific moment. There was always I wanted to make my recovery better and to try to. I always kind of didn't fit in everywhere, or like not really cliquey. So I always tried to, join in with other people. And I thought, why not make an event for people that feel this way? And it just began to evolve, and I started working on it for almost 2 years. It was an idea for a year. And then finally I got the gumption and the people to help me with it. And people in the community kind of came and went, and they contributed in some way or form. But what really got me into helping other people was one of my mentors, Megan. She works here at the hub. She really pushed me to help other people. She really gave me the motivation to actually do it instead of just talking about it.
Local 12-step fellowships will be on hand for anyone seeking recovery for themselves or their loved ones. Vigen says the goal of Recovery Connection is to reach people who want help getting or staying sober by connecting them with local organizations.
The first day we have, speakers, we have fellowships that are going to be there, we have booths of information, and there's just going to be all day, and admission is free. We would just like people to put their name down so we can kind of keep track of how many people come through, to have kind of not necessarily a quota or anything, but just, and that's totally up to you. If you don't want to put your name down, that's up to you. But we just kind of want to see a starting point and see over the years, because this is going to be hopefully an annual, every year. And that's something we want to keep track of, how many people we're trying to help or how many people showed up. It's in the name, Recovery Connection. We're trying to connect people to other people. There's all kinds of different programs, all kinds of different help that I became aware of when I put this event together. I didn't know about before, and I've been in recovery for almost 2 years. And I'm just now learning about these programs, whether they're government funded or just, helping hands. There's a lot of help out there for us, not just for natives either. And it's for people in recovery, mostly. There's transition re-entry programs, because a lot of us come from institutions when we get sober, and we don't know the bridge to get back. And there's a lot of programs out there that are not talked about as much as other programs. And we're trying to get them all together in one place so it's easier for the person that's new in recovery to find those outlets. And that was something I thought we needed as a whole. And yeah, a big part of my committee are people, natives, and we have different ethnicities on my committee here, and they are just doing wonderful, honestly. And it's just bringing everyone together, whether they're from different tribes, from MHA to Standing Rock to, just regular people. There are a lot of sober livings that are going to be there with their information, how to get into sober living, what they can contribute. I know there is a lot of outreach from fellowships that are going to be there as well. I do believe F5 is a re-entry program to basically help you with what they can.
And lastly, MHA citizen Garrett Vegan, creator of a first-of-its-kind conference, leaves us with why this is so important to him.
And what I'm trying to achieve is hope and inspiration, because I'm just a normal guy that's looking for recovery and wants to help other people. And I want to show that that's possible through anyone. One person with an idea can move mountains.
In North Dakota, the ancestral homelands of the Nueta Nation, Vincent Moniz.